This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got a lot of important news to share with you in this video. In terms of stimulus update, some Americans could see more stimulus money in 2022. And this article right here, a new type of stimulus check, more U.S. cities are offering free cash. When it comes to the big package, Democrats are still divided. I'm going to play a video clip from President Biden giving his town hall speech last night, talking about the big package, what's going to happen moving forward. In terms of Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, they're still holding things up. Joe Manchin, I'll play you a video clip from him talking about why he was thinking about leaving the Democratic Party, clarifying what he meant there. And with Kyrsten Sinema, it looks like she's still holding things up, and President Biden calls her as smart as a devil. I'll play you that as well, and I'll give you some other more important updates along the way. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced update, hit the like button down below. And I'm giving $200 to my subscribers and announcing the winners tomorrow. So you still have some time if you want to enter to get the $200. I have more details to that down in the description below. But first, a new type of stimulus check. More U.S. cities are offering free cash. So what this article is talking about is mayors for a guaranteed income. So this is just free money that different cities are offering to people. No strings attached, no job requirements, just basically giving money out. The checks can be from anywhere $500 per month. Then we see places like California. California goes big. They're having $35 million for the guaranteed income program, and they're giving monthly payments of up to $1,000. So that's basically what this article is about. When it comes to this article, stimulus update, some Americans could see more stimulus money in 2022. What this is about, so I like to summarize these stimulus articles just so you don't get the wrong idea and you don't get any false information from the headline. I'll just let you know the truth of what's actually going on. This one is talking about the child tax credit and how it could come more in 2022, could be extended at this point. We don't know how long it's going to be extended. I think they dropped it down to a year. Supposedly it's supposed to be 5 years originally. Some wanted it permanent, but in terms of the child tax credit, it looks like it's going to be for at least one more year for the $300 to $250 per child. When it comes to the big package, divided Democrats see slow progress on Biden's social spending bill, meaning it's not really moving forward. Here's a video clip summarizing exactly what's going on.
His approval rating has dropped 7 points in just 3 months. That from the new CNBC All-America Economic Survey. It found 41% of Americans approve of President Biden's job performance, while 52% disapprove. The drop comes as Democrats remain divided themselves over the president's economic plan. Today, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi said she believes they're close to a deal, but it's definitely not what the White House originally pitched.
Although it's a smaller bill, it's still historic, transformational, and will make an enormous difference in the lives of America's working families.
But it's not what they promised. News team coverage now. Steve Leisman on those survey numbers. But first, CNBC senior White House correspondent Kayla Tausche live in Washington. Kayla?
Good evening, Shep. Democrats are racing to agree on a framework of the social and climate package and identifying areas to trim as they try to limit the size to less than $2 trillion. And on Wednesday night, sources say the White House proposed shrinking two programs in particular. First, limiting the child tax credit to extend only 1 year instead of 5 years, and limiting a paid parental leave to fewer people for less time. Under the White House's new $100 billion plan, beginning in 2024, individuals making less than $150,000 would get 4 weeks of leave for as long as the funding lasts, which sources tell me is estimated to be 4 years. That's a significantly smaller program than the original proposal. 12 weeks for everyone permanently. And the changes come as the administration and congressional leaders come to terms with Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema's long-held position opposing big tax increases on corporations and the wealthy, limiting the ways the package could be funded. And today, the White House said getting something is better than nothing.
This is going to be something that's going to deliver for the American public. And we know that this is going to help the economy with jobs, good paying union jobs, but also just the middle class of Americans. So we are all on the same page with that. And so we see that progress is coming along. We think that in the next couple of days, we're going to continue to see progress.
Democrats still hope to reach an agreement in principle by next week in order to arm President Biden with a domestic policy win before leaving for the G20, to secure progressive support ahead of an infrastructure vote on the 29th, and to boost support for Terry McAuliffe in the Virginia gubernatorial race, which has closely tracked President Biden's agenda. Tonight, President Biden is headed to a town hall in Baltimore to take the sales pitch directly to the American people.
So President Biden leaving for the G20 summit in Europe on the 29th, which is just 7 days away, which means if Congress does pass it before then, does that mean they would ship the bill and for President Biden to sign it? Do they fax it? I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I guess they have to get it done before he leaves. So when it comes to Kyrsten Sinema, Neil says Sinema is ready to deal. So she's been one of the Democrats who've been holding things up. Richard Neal, who is a Democrat from Massachusetts, said, I started the conversation with that. I said, Kyrsten, this has got to pass. She said, I couldn't agree more. And that's basically where the conversation went. So I wouldn't say that Sinema is ready to deal because she's still holding things up. Also, in terms of Kyrsten Sinema, Sinema advisors resigned, calling her an obstacle to progress. So Sinema's own advisors, people who work for her, actually resigned as well, 5 of them, and they were veterans. So it said here in the letter that they wrote to Kyrsten Sinema, you have become one of the principal obstacles to progress, answering to big donors rather than your own people. We shouldn't have to buy representation from you, and your failure to stand by your people and see their urgent needs is alarming. So when it comes to Kyrsten Sinema, a few people have called her out, saying that she's listening to the big donors rather than her own constituents. Here is a video clip from President Biden when asked about Kyrsten Sinema, and he calls her a devil, sort of. Take a look at this clip right here.
We've talked a lot about Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema. You seem relatively confident you can kind of get Senator Manchin on board. There's a lot of Democrats in the House and Senate who are confused about where Senator Sinema actually stands on things. And I know she's been negotiating directly with you and the White House. What is your read on her? And obviously, you need her to remain positive in your direction, so I don't know what you're going to say. But what is your read on her? Do you know where she stands?
First of all, she's smart as the devil, number one. Number two, she's very supportive of the environmental agenda in my legislation. Very supportive. She's supportive of almost all the things I mentioned relating to everything from family care to all those issues. Where she's not supportive is she says she will not raise a single penny in taxes on the corporate side and/or on wealthy people, period. And so that's where it sort of breaks down. There's a few other issues it breaks down on. But what we're trying to do is reach a point here where I'm able to present to the Senate, they're able to vote on, and the House, a serious piece of legislation that changes the dynamic for working class folks in America and middle class folks, and begins to have the very wealthy and corporate members just begin to pay their fair share. Not a lot. How we get there, we're down to 4 or 5 issues, which I'm not going to negotiate on national television, as you might guess.
We'd be interested in hearing them if you want.
No, I know. But all kidding aside, I think we can get there.
You talked about the environmental piece. You said Senator Sinema is on board with that. Certainly, Senator Manchin is not. It gets to our next question. This is from Kobe Kong. He's originally from Anaheim, California. He's a sophomore class president at Johns Hopkins University and Democrat. Kobe, what's your question?
Mr. President.
One of the largest issues that people have trouble comprehending the severity of is climate change. Many legislators and politicians today are lenient as they won't have to live with the future effects. Without the legislative support for the climate aspects of your budget proposal and the Earth rapidly approaching the Paris Agreement's 1.5 degrees limit, what other backup plans do you have to ensure a future for the next generations?
Well, let's... Mr. President, you got it right. The existential threat to humanity is climate change. And when President Trump pulled out of the Paris Accord, which when I was with the Obama administration, we helped negotiate, the agreement was that we could not, if we reached beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in temperature, we're gone. Not a joke. Not a joke. And so we decided that he pulled out. First thing I committed to do is rejoin that accord, number one. But number two, what you have to do is you look at there's multiple ways in which we can deal with climate. I'm going off to COP26 in Scotland, and in, I don't know, I guess it's 2 weeks or a week. I'm losing track of time. And I'm presenting a commitment to the world that we will, in fact, get to net zero emissions on electric power by 2035 and net zero emissions across the board by 2050 or before.
Joe Biden saying Kyrsten Sinema is as smart as a devil. What does that mean? Is that a backhanded compliment? Is that an insult? I've never heard that term before. Let me know down in the comments below. So that was from President Biden's town hall speech last night. So when it comes to Kyrsten Sinema, Bernie Sanders hit Sinema for opposing reforms on drug prices and corporate taxes. So I haven't heard any arguments of why drug prices should remain the same. The only people who would not benefit from high drug prices are the pharmaceutical companies, actual people who are making the drugs and profiting off of those huge prices. So most likely Kyrsten Sinema might be getting paid off of their corporate taxes. I've heard some good arguments for and against it, whether you believe it or not, but I've heard some logical arguments there. But drug prices, not much. So Bernie Sanders is big on that. What he said is, I'm very surprised that anybody would put themselves in that position, saying that I'm surprised that there's anybody in the United States not prepared to do what the American people want, and that is demand the wealthiest people in this country start paying their fair share of taxes, that we end all of the tax loopholes that the wealthy people enjoy. Also saying it is beyond comprehension that there is any member of the United States Congress who is not prepared to vote to make sure that we lower prescription drug costs. I agree with that. So, and I also agree with the tax hike too for the wealthiest. But the lower prescription drugs, there's no logical argument against that. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. When it comes to the corporate, excuse me, sorry. When it comes to the corporate tax hike, here's a video clip of where Democrats stand with that.
Meantime, let's talk about the drama in Washington. Democrats scrambling to cobble together a deal, and want to get to Elon Moy in Washington right now. Elon.
Well, Andrew, raising the corporate tax rate had seemed like a sure thing for Democrats, but that is now in jeopardy due to opposition from Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema. Now, the moderate Democrat has been skeptical of both the size and scope of the social spending package, and now she appears to be holding out on the plan to pay for that as well. Two sources are telling me that her opposition to an increase in the corporate tax rate or the top individual rate is forcing Democrats to search for other ways to raise revenue in case she doesn't come around. They said there was a call with the White House yesterday that focused on a couple of key proposals. That includes a new tax on stock buybacks, which potentially could be structured as a 2% excise tax, a corporate minimum tax that's based on book income, though both the White House and the Senate have different methods for calculating that. Reforming the international tax code came up, as well as ramping up tax enforcement. Now, Democrats are hoping that's going to be enough to cover the cost of the social spending package, especially since the price tag is shrinking. But those negotiations are still in flux, and progressives may not be happy with this approach. Just think about the protesters who followed Sinema into the bathroom, or who surrounded Senator Joe Manchin's houseboat in D.C. There are some big gaps to close if Democrats want to reach agreement on a framework this week, and we're starting to hear some of them push back against the idea that there's any deadline at all. Guys?
So when it comes to Joe Manchin, he has been getting a ton of attention lately. So Manchination's the center of attention on Capitol Hill. So as politicians say, bad press is good press, or how does it go? Any press is good press, or I don't know how that goes. But basically, Joe Manchin is getting a lot of press. So we got some more information of what happened with the meeting between Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders the other day. So Joe Manchin taunts Bernie Sanders by making a zero with his hand during social spending negotiations, saying, I'm comfortable with nothing. So during that, I can imagine Joe Manchin being, more hard and saying that he wasn't going to do anything to help. Axios reported that Joe Manchin told Bernie Sanders he is comfortable spending nothing on the reconciliation bill. Senator John Tester witnessed and said that they are in different spots, and Sanders has not held back in calling out Manchin for stalling Biden's economic agenda. So what was said, I guess Joe Manchin said, I'm comfortable with nothing, and Bernie said, we need to do $3.5 trillion. But the truth is, both of them are in different spots. So from 0 to $3.5 trillion, we don't fully know what happened in that meeting, just little things here and there. When it comes to Joe Manchin leaving the Democratic Party, so I mentioned this the other day, how Manchin calls BS on the report that he may leave the Democratic Party. Supposedly he did say something like that, and before he said it was BS, he was really angry about it, but here's a video clip of him talking, or I guess clarifying what he meant by that statement.
Anything that was ever said, that we've ever talked about, if I'm an embarrassment to my Democrat colleagues, my caucus, the president being the Democrat, the leader of the Democrat Party, Chuck Schumer and all them, and I said, me being a moderate centrist Democrat, if that causes you a problem, let me know, and I'd switch to be an independent, but I'd still be caucusing with Democrats.
And that is all the stimulus news I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Okay.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I'll tell you the one thing that you should do. When you feel hurt, don't feel scared. Ask for help. Like when I get hurt, I ask for help. Like today, I got hurt, so I asked for help.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. As I mentioned, still have a day left to sign up for the $200. Also, if you want to check out the latest video on my Wise Buys channel, I do a marshmallow taste test with my two daughters. So if you enjoy seeing my daughters in these clips and everything, definitely check out the video up here, and you could see more of that video of us taste testing marshmallows. So anyways, hope you have a great weekend. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.